This is your Weather Xtreme video for Saturday, January the 5th, 2013. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in. Thought we'd take a look at my temperature trace for the last 24 hours. Nice to see a regular temperature trace, not one of these that is kind of oddball traces with the lows occurring early in the morning and the highs occurring, at midnight and that sort of stuff. So anyway, nice, fairly typical trace. There's the Skycam image this morning from Decatur. Clouds increasing across the area ahead of the next rain chances today. And there's a look at the Trussville Skycam as we can see the deck of clouds, but a little bit of break over on the horizon. We're dealing with moisture coming out of the southwest area coming our way as moisture increases today, and we can see on radar that moisture showing up in the form of some showers. Doesn't look like everybody necessarily will get wet, but we do have a fairly substantial closed low over the central part of the country. This map isn't showing it as a closed low, but other maps I've looked at show it as a closed low. It will be ejecting fairly quickly across the Central Plains and into the Great Lakes area. This morning temperatures vary quite a bit. We go from about 36 at Birmingham to 25 up there at Fort Payne. So kind of a fairly typical morning in a way with a fairly good range in temperatures, but it does look like we should get back into the 50s once again today. Much of the rain for the next 5 days is likely to be off to our west, while we're not likely to get a great deal of rain with this particular system. With the low ejecting very quickly across into the Great Lakes area, and that just bringing us some showers today and tonight. For Storm Prediction Center's outlook for severe weather, they're not outlooking any area for day one. And as a matter of fact, they're not outlooking any areas for all the way out through day 4 through 8, although there is some potential when we get out that way in terms of about Thursday. All right, the 06Z GFS model run, and supplemented a little bit with the European. There comes the low ejecting out across the Central Plains today, and that should bring some showers into our area, especially this afternoon. And European in relatively good agreement with that. And then looking at kind of an intermediate time around midnight tonight, and you can see that the showers kind of break up, the bulk of it down in the Gulf Coast, so we're not expecting a great deal of precipitation. The trough comes by our area tomorrow, so tomorrow should be an improving day with showers off to the east, and maybe a slight cool down, but since we've been relatively cool, I'm not sure we're going to notice much in the way of any change whatsoever. When we get out to Monday, we come back under a ridge, and so that should help to give us a fairly nice seasonable day. But notice what's coming in off the Pacific and just to the southwest of the Four Corners area, a very deep low. But again, that should give us a nice day for Monday with seasonable temperatures. That big closed low as our next system, and boy, it's a bear coming out of across northern Mexico, and it looks like much of the precipitation will be confined to the Texas area and the northwest Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday. The big day for us is that system moves into the southern Texas area on Wednesday. We see that a surface low develops, and that should help to bring a bit of a warm front north. So it looks like Wednesday we should see some showers probably by afternoon, if not by morning even, with the warm front, depending on exactly where that warm front goes. And European and GFS have not been maintaining much continuity with each other. But now, looking at the European, you can see that there is some continuity. The European not quite as aggressive with the precipitation this far east from the system, but certainly the surface low position not in terrible agreement. They're off a little bit, yes, but not too bad. So it's nice to see model consistency out that far. It gives the confidence a little higher, but certainly, confidence is not absolutely the highest. That system rotates out and goes negatively tilted, it looks like, on Thursday, and that's the day where it looks like our big action could be. The GFS painting a surface low over the Mid-South area, centered in the vicinity of Jonesboro, Arkansas. The European, a little bit different. Now, the GFS, notice the precipitation coming in along the Mississippi-Alabama line at 18Z or midday, and the European precipitation output in pretty good agreement. They're both along the Mississippi-Alabama line. The surface low, however, is quite a bit different, so there are some big differences in the models. We'll stick with the GFS for now. Not sure which of those will be the most right, but one of the concerns is, well, how high will dew points get? And we'll definitely, both models suggesting we'll be in the warm sector. And indeed, looking at the dew points off the GFS is suggesting 65 dew points as high as Birmingham, as far north as Birmingham. Looking at Cape, surface-based Cape, and once again, the values are not huge, but they certainly are up there. We're getting into the 300 to 500 range for Cape values, with the highest values a little bit further to the south, but indeed, we're getting up into sufficient values, so we may have to be looking at the possibility of a severe weather situation. Moving on to Friday, that system zips by very quickly. You can see the upper trough over the mid-Atlantic states. And below that, of course, the surface low, according to the GFS, now in the vicinity of the mid-Atlantic states, and we're clearing out. We stay relatively mild, it looks like, on Saturday, a week from today, so we're back under a southwesterly flow, as once again another closed low is dropping into the southwest United States in the vicinity of the Four Corners area. And let's just zip out a little bit into voodoo here. This is Sunday, a week from tomorrow, and once again showing that closed low ejecting out very quickly, so the flow remaining very, very progressive. And that brings, a major storm system to the central U.S. But, of course, we're going to stay mild. Look at those thickness values between 564 and 570, so we stay relatively mild. Now, at this particular time, the GFS and the European, quite a bit different. Look at that. The European nowhere near the nature of the storm system that the GFS is. So great model differences this time. We'll have to see which one is right. Now, going out into voodoo country, of course, the European doesn't go quite this far out. But we do see around the 17th, we do see a trough once again coming through the flow that would bring us some wet weather. And then the GFS out around the 19th of January, suggesting a rather chilly look for the eastern half of the country, with a very deep long wave trough over this area. But you know how it is with voodoo. It might happen and it might not. Well, thanks for tuning into the Weather Xtreme video. I expect to have the next one posted first thing on Sunday morning. In the meantime, I hope that your Saturday is a good one, and Godspeed.
Thank you for trusting us to be your #1 source for news
in all of Central Alabama.
In back-to-back ratings periods,
more people watched ABC 3340
than any other station in Birmingham.